What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I'm seeing Democrats absolutely lose their freaking mind over this issue right here. As we know, the Young Republicans National Foundation had a group chat that was leaked to the public. And oh my goodness, the locker room talk was appalling, apparently. Check this out. Absolutely appalled, Young Republicans face fallout after racist messages leak. Okay, so what I want to do with this video right here, I'm going to compare and contrast a couple of different things. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the news on the Republicans in case you don't know already about the particulars and what people are actually saying about this. I've got a couple of the messages and whatnot, so we're going to go over all that. I've read all the messages, like I read, from the corporate press, the bad ones, and it's locker room talk, seriously. It's basically grab them by the cooter type of stuff, if you know what I mean. Like when Donald Trump said this, it's basically along those lines, right? So it's some young Republicans, and what I find fascinating is there's Republicans out there just saying, oh, this is vile, disgusting, these people. What you'll see, you will see. I'm gonna go ahead and read this out right quick, and I'm gonna ram through this, and then we're gonna compare and contrast something right fast, because I just want to show where the Republican Party is and where the Democrat Party is. The fallout from a Politico report on leaked young Republican group chats continued Wednesday, with GOP leaders denouncing the messages and several participants losing their jobs. Keep that on the top of mind right fast. The reporting revealed thousands of messages exchanged among leaders and members of the Young Republican National Federation and state affiliates. I think I said foundation earlier, so admonish me down in the comments. It's Federation. I apologize, y'all. Filled with racist slurs, violent rhetoric, and jokes about assault and gas chambers. Gas chambers? Yeah, see, now that's going to bring to mind something of 1930s Germany, if you will, and 1940s Germany, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, it's not so dark, if you will. One member wrote that everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, in reference to a YRNF chairman election, according to Politico. Okay, so everybody that votes no is going to the gas chamber, and they were talking about electing the chairman of their own organization. And this is appalling to Democrats. Vile and disgusting. Just keep all of this top of mind, by the way. All of it. Every single bit of it. This is so funny. Others referred to black people as monkeys or the watermelon people. Yeah, that's a little bit racist. Several participants faced immediate consequences. William Hendricks, a vice chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, was fired from the Kansas Attorney General's office. Hendricks reportedly used variations of the N-word more than a dozen times in the chat. Peter Guenta, I don't know how you pronounce that, formerly the chair of the New York State Young Republicans, was removed from his position as chief of staff to Assembly member Mike Riley. Joseph Milano, who previously identified as general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, also lost his job, while Vermont State Senator Sam Douglas faced calls for resignation from the state's Republican governor, Phil Scott, among others. Some other national and state GOP figures were quick to condemn the content of the chats. Rep. Elise Stefanik told Politico that she was absolutely appalled to learn about the alleged comments made by leaders of the New York State Young Republicans and other state YRs, or Young Republicans, in a large national group chat, calling those responsible to step down. State Senate Minority Leader Rob Ort and New York Chair GOP chair, Ed Cox, similarly criticized the messages. The Young Republicans National Federation released a social media statement saying it was appalled by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the chats. It demanded that all participants immediately resign from positions within their state organizations. The Kansas state branch of the Young Republicans was disbanded following the revelations. So they just went ahead and dismantled that whole organization in Kansas. Dismantled the organization entirety. There is no longer a Young Republicans National Federation in Kansas, folks. That's what that means. All because of some racist chats and racist comments. Basically, locker room talk. I wonder why. Participants themselves issued apologies while questioning the circumstances of the leaks. Guenta said the release was part of a highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by Gavin Wax and the New York City Young Republican Club, though he acknowledged concerns about the content. Walker stated, "There is no excuse for the language and tone in the messages attributed to me." That's fascinating. So they know about this. They know that this was intentionally leaked by somebody just to damage the reputation of some of the people in there. Like, once again, the people apologized at least, but, locker room talk is locker room talk. I always talk about there should be consequences to your speech. This was not public speech, so this much consequences for that? Like, I'm really not bothered by this at all. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, come to find out that when you get into groups with other people, right, like at work, a lot of my coworkers say some very racist things all the time. It doesn't really bother me because I know deep down in their heart they are not racist. We can delineate between these things. See, this is the difference between these politicos and real people. Real people can understand. Like, I could go up to, I'm serious about this, I could go up to one of my black friends and use the N-word with a hard R, call him that, and he would probably return the favor, and we'd go on about our day, to be honest with you. We could go back and forth all day long, racial slurs, back and forth, insulting each other. Much worse than this. No problems whatsoever. Why? How do I know that, you say? Because we've done it, folks. This is what men do. Right? It's called locker room talk, like I've been saying. It's locker room talk. But once again, the Young Republicans National Federation should be held to a higher standard, right? Right. We're all Christians. Well, not every Republican is a Christian, by the way. So, you can't say that. You don't know if they're Christians or not. We have no idea. I imagine they are, but even still, a sin is a sin. You shouldn't, celebrate these things. But these things do happen. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that we as real people and normal people can delineate between a racist comment being a joke and an actual racist comment being serious and not a joke. And we understand these things. When we hear somebody say something racist and you're like, yeah, I think he meant that, yeah, you have a different outlook of that person at that point. But once again, like I said, I go to work, hear somebody say something racist about something, and I know they're joking because it was a joke. I don't think twice about that. Once again, because I know for a fact that at least some people you can go and joke around like this about. They don't say nothing about it. They don't take it to heart because they know it's a joke. It's in good humor. But, these politicos, they're not real people, as a matter of fact. They're all about the virtue signal, right? This is why we get like Elise Stefanik coming out and saying this is vile and disgusting when it's really not. Women particularly don't understand this issue right here. They don't understand this locker room talk, even though they will never admit it, but I imagine they engage in this very language right here. I imagine. Hey, I'm just saying. It's fascinating, y'all. The language is wrong and hurtful, and I sincerely apologize. This has been a painful lesson about judgment and trust. Democratic officials also harshly criticized the group. When asked if these represented a few bad apples, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said the problem ran much deeper and had to be fixed. What are you going to fix about this? How are you going to resolve this issue, Kathy Hochul? This is speech. Are you going to use the bureaucracy to go after people for their speech? This is the mindset of the Democrats. They don't care about freedom of speech, folks. How are you going to fix that? And she goes on. These are the future of the Republican Party. This is so vile, it's hard to find the words to put into context that these are people who are part of one of two major parties, and they believe in gas chambers and assault and discrimination based on the color of people's skin, she said. Because of comedy, folks, because of jokes, locker room talk. I believe in gas chambers, right? You heard that joke. Like, are you serious? They're not being serious about sending their own colleagues to gas chambers. But once again, Democrats, Kathy Hochul knows this. She knows that that's not a serious statement. That is not a call to action. That is obviously a joke. But once again, they're going to use it as a political bludgeon. But there's some deep hypocrisy going on here. Kick them out of the party. Take away their official roles. Stop using them as campaign advisors. This BS has to stop. That's what she said. Okay, now, I do want to compare and contrast a few things because that's quite a harsh statement right there. And look, I don't condone any of this that, it came out publicly. And yes, that kind of looks bad. I'll be honest about that. But you know what? A lot of normal people engage in this type of thing. It happens all the time. This does not mean that they're racist. This does not mean that they believe in gas chambers. This does not mean that they advocate for grape culture, if you know what I mean. They don't. That does not mean that. That means that comedy exists. And you know what though? I'm going to back that up because I'm not even going to call that comedy. Because a joke is not necessarily comedy. Because when you're making statements like this and not being serious, like if you say to a friend, because he tosses an insult your way, you say, I'm going to punch you in the face. That's not a call to action. You are not going to punch him in the face because that is one of your friends. Does that mean that you believe in violence? No, it doesn't, folks. But once again, Democrats, they fully understand this. But from the mindset of the Democrats, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about principles, morals, none of these things. Come to find out that Democrats, and this is why language is so important to Democrats, they only care about power. And they will say anything and everything that they can say to wield as much power as possible over you. So if they want to take a situation like this and turn the rhetoric up to 11, call for resignations, and these people, there should be consequences. This BS has to stop. Blah, blah, blah. She wants to use her bureaucracy to go after the opposition party. Okay. Once again, folks, this opens the door and shows you what's going on inside the head of the Democrat. They don't care about morals at all. Otherwise, what I'm about to say next would not be real. Would not be real at all. Check this out. This is, as a matter of fact, this news article is from today. As a matter of fact, 1:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jones, Miyares are neck and neck in latest polling average following texting scandal. Now, in case you didn't know, this is the Attorney General's race in Virginia. Check this out, y'all. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares and his Democratic challenger Jay Jones are neck and neck in the latest Decision Desk HQ polling average following the controversy over Jones's recently leaked text messages in which he discussed violence against a former state speaker. No, he didn't just suggest violence against the former state speaker. He actually threatened to kill him, said he would love to see this, wanted to see Republican children killed. This is a call to violence. This is actually disgusting language. This is what he said. We all know about this guy, Jay Jones. I'm not going to pull up the text because I cannot read those text messages on YouTube, is how bad they are. Cannot read them on YouTube, as a matter of fact, which is wild. But needless to say, he called for the death of Republicans, said he would rejoice in the death of his opponents, as a matter of fact, would love to see their children die, as a matter of fact. Go look it up, by the way. You can find it. They're plastered all over the intrawebs, if you will. But this is fascinating, don't you think? The updated average shows Jones and Miyares tied with 46.4% support. So this texting scandal comes out like a week ago. And this guy running for Attorney General has not lost any support whatsoever. Watch this. 3 other recent polls offered different visions of the race. Jones's campaign released a poll conducted by Hart Research showing him leading Miyares 46% support to 45% support. Another poll released by the Republican Attorneys General's Association, or RAGA, that was conducted by Signal showed Miyares leading Jones 46% to 44%. Now, I went just out of curiosity because it's kind of hard to find some information sometimes. So I went to Google's AI and I asked a simple question. Has Jay Jones lost any sort of Democratic endorsements, right? You know how Democrats, they always get out there and they'll endorse this candidate or that candidate or whatever. Since this scandal, has he lost any endorsements? And I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you. Check this out. As of mid-October 2025, no prominent Democrats have retracted their endorsement of Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones, despite widespread condemnation of his 2022 text message where he fantasized about killing then House Speaker Todd Gilbert. Democratic responses to the texts. Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic nominee for Virginia governor, has called Jones's text abhorrent, but has refused calls from Republicans and some commentators to withdraw her endorsement. When asked directly in an October 9th debate, she said she was aware of the texts on the day they were released and that it's up to the voters to decide. Tim Kaine, the U.S. Senator from Virginia, called the text indefensible, but said he believes Jones's apology is sincere and that the remarks are not in character. He told Fox News Digital he remains a supporter of Jones. Many other Democrats, have publicly condemned Jones's comments, but have not retracted their support. They include Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas and Mamie Locke, who called the text deeply disturbing, but warned against allowing the controversy to distract from the election. Some national Democrats approached by Fox News Digital have declined to comment on this matter. So, just comparing the two, right? That's kind of fascinating, don't you think? This guy fantasizes about murdering people outright. And nothing. Crickets. Oh, they'll say that this is indefensible and it's deeply disturbing. Really? That's just deeply disturbing to you guys? But you're not going to withdraw your endorsement for this guy at all, and you still think he should win? Oh, but let's let the voters decide on that, huh? This guy has not withdrawn. Oh, he apologized, though, right? so did those Republicans. And don't you think that, fantasizing over the death of others is a little bit worse than using the N-word? Saying, hey guys, if you guys don't vote, if you don't vote no, you're all going to the gas chamber. Like, are you kidding me with that? That's milquetoast comments right there. Seriously. I mean, this is where we're at, though, folks. This is absolutely where we're at in this country, where Democrats can get away with calling for violence, but Republicans make a joke that happens to have a racist epithet along with it. And it's a total condemnation. They should be fired and excised from society, from polite society at least. Can we see the difference here? Can we see what we're up against and why Republicans and conservatives in particular have an uphill battle? We're fighting Democrats who are fighting downhill on us, and we're fighting an uphill battle because not only do we have to beat the Democrats, but we must adhere to our principles and our morals while doing it when they don't have to. They absolutely don't have to. This news article right here proves it. The polling from Virginia proves it, that Democrats don't care and they advocate for these things. It's completely absurd. This is where we're at in this country. You have Democrats. They'll put out a simple platitude. I condemn violence. But yet, at the same time, turning up the rhetoric against what Trump is doing with ICE. And all Trump is doing, you'd think Trump's doing something bad. We're just enforcing federal laws, folks. That's it. That is it. My next video is insane. It's truly insane. It really is. And this type of stuff blows my mind. It really does, folks, because they make some off-the-cuff locker room talk, right? Oh, and they get absolutely canceled for it. But yet, as a Democrat, you can call for death, for the death of other people, fantasize about that death, call for their children to die, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing has happened to this guy. He has not lost any support. He has not dropped in the polls. The double standard is clear, folks, and I don't see how any Democrat can defend their party. So, any of you people out there that want to call me a maggot or anything like that, any kind of insults, do you think I care about that anymore? Do you think I care that you trying to make an argument, oh, Trump's a fascist, he's a Nazi, and he's this, he's that, he's a racist, and he's a felon, and he's all these other things? Do you think I care about that anymore? No, I don't care. I used to care. I used to try to convince these people that, no, look, this is why he's not. And I would break it all down. I don't care anymore. Because they clearly don't care either. They're just using words as leverage over me to bludgeon me and force me into their ideology. That's all they're doing, folks. They have absolutely no principles, absolutely no morals. And once again, we cannot come together and compromise with people that don't have principles and don't have morals and that are totally willing, fully on board with using words as leverage over you. It's completely sick, folks, but I've rambled on for long enough before I say something I might regret. You guys let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click that join button, sign up, and become a member. That's the best way to help this channel expand and grow. And I need y'all's help. Definitely need y'all's help on this. So y'all make sure and do all that for me. And remember that God has a plan for everybody. It's always there, folks, and he loves each and every one of you. So y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.